Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. We have an incredibly packed show, a very exciting show. We're covering soccer, Major League Baseball, including some afternoon baseball. We've got football, Thursday night football, props, sides, totals, you name it. We've got it, including first touchdown scores, courtesy of a promo from BetMGM. Hit the like button in the chat if you could. I see you, Rick. I see you, Matt. I see you, Ramo and Jason. And Danny Brasco is in the chat as well. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we bring in the stars of the show. Well, Amex goes 0-for-2. Listen, Juan Soto got walked twice in that one. Tanner Houck gets pulled a little early after having, I think, logging in 4 Ks through 2 innings. We go 1-2-1. My push, you actually won a little bit of money on it because it's a 3-ball, so you got a little bit of your bet pack plus a little bit more, but we're going to classify that as a push, even though you technically won money. 1-2-1. Got to do better than that. Let's do it with the stars of the show. Let's bring them in right now. We've got buckets. We've got the maestro, we've got the sniper, and we've got Mike McClure. So much ground to cover, folks. So I'm going to skip over salutations. I want to get right into picks. Mike, I'm going to see you at 11 o'clock for Fantasy Football Today DFS, but I want to hear you right now with your Thursday night football pick.
I've got a couple different ways I'm looking at this game tonight, Sia, but the one that I played first was the Patriots team total under 16.5. I think this is a big number for them. I know it has ticked down now to 15.5 in a lot of spots. Still lean there, but 16 is relatively key when you consider the way this team is going to play. And that's certainly going to be run the football. They do not want to put the ball in Jacoby Brissett's hands as much as they can. So when I look at this game, I think they're going to commit to the run. And I think as long as they're within 10 points, they're going to continue to run the football. But I do have some concerns, especially on that offensive line. They're down another lineman tonight, going to have the rookie left tackle in there. Not a great situation when you're talking about a primetime short week on the road against a divisional opponent. And personally, I just don't see the Patriots grabbing 2 touchdowns in this game. So you're going to need multiple field goals to get there to get this home. So I love this under 16.5 here. I think the Jets control time of possession. I think they get in the end zone, and I think they have a big night on the short week. Again, home field advantages and short weeks, those situations really magnify in the NFL like this. So I went under 16.5 here for the Patriots team total.
Yeah, I like this play quite a bit. It actually goes well with my take. Before I give my take out, I got to tell you, Mike, everybody, your wardrobe is always like pretty elite, especially lately. And Danny Brasco in the chat, you can ask him anything. He says M2, M squared looking sharp. Brad Bet says Mike with the suit stud. Absolutely love it. Listen, I want to get to my pick. Sniper, buckets, Larry, we're going to get to your picks shortly. I hate to leave you silent on the front end of the show, but we have so much ground to cover. So I want to go right to mine. I want to go to the Jets -6. And Mike, you said it. I really like the position these teams are in, especially with the Jets at home on a short week. But when you talk about that Patriots offensive line, listen, I know it's trendy to take the dogs. I had Atlanta, remember, just a couple of nights ago. I love taking the dogs just as much as anybody. But I feel like the Patriots have played a little over their head, and I feel like the sentiment about the Patriots is a little higher than perhaps it should be and a little lower on the Jets than it should be. The Jets have some injuries, don't get me wrong, especially with Johnson being out on the defensive side of the ball. But now you've got Aaron Rodgers in his 3rd game against a formidable defense, but in his 3rd game, I think we're going to start to see Aaron Rodgers improve more and more, and this offensive line is really going to be problematic for the New England Patriots. So I've got the Jets covering the 6 points here. Give me Jets -6 at -110. All right. Well, that's a couple of picks for Thursday Night Football. We're not even close to done with Thursday Night Football yet. Buckets. I do want to switch over. We got some Champions League going on, but we've got some other soccer plays to contemplate as well. You've got 2 for us.
2 for you, Sia. We've got Champions League, but we also have the Swedish Allsvenskan, which is starting at 1 p.m. this afternoon with a tremendous matchup between IB Elfsborg and IFK Norrköping. And we're taking the simplest best we can, or the taking this bet because Norrköping is the absolute kings of scoring, but not winning the matchup. This team is so good at getting that 1 goal and then kind of falling apart and dropping points. We saw them draw 1-1 to Hammarby. We saw them draw 3-3 to Häcken, lose 2-1 to Mjölby, lose 2-1 to Malmo, lose 3-1 to Djurgården. This is a team that is really good at scoring and then really doing nothing for the rest of the time. So take both teams to score. If you want to take both teams to score and over at plus odds, you can do that as well. Then we are going to go to a Champions League fixture this afternoon between Crvena Zvezda Belgrade taking on Benfica. And once again, keeping this one easy. Both teams to score at minus 145, because whenever you see Red Star Belgrade play at home, I don't care who their opponent is. I don't care if they're playing Northside High School. I don't care if they're playing Real Madrid. They will get one goal. They will probably lose in this fixture, but again, both teams to score is too good considering that Red Star, the underdog, have scored in every home game so far across every competition this season.
All right. I like both plays. I like what did you say like about that second bet? You said whenever this team is playing, what was it? What was that line?
I don't know.
Okay. It was like some quote, like anytime this team is playing, you got to do this.
Whenever I give my takes, I black out for 90 seconds and then I kind of phase back to reality at the end there. I don't know what I said.
Fair enough. Speaking of blacking out, Larry, I do want to go to you real quick and Sniper, I know we have your baseball picks coming up, including an afternoon game. People look at this Thursday night game, I think, and they think, well, it's the Patriots, it's the Jets. It's not super exciting. What's your sentiment going into this game? Listen, we're better, so we like any game, but is there any reason to be excited about, like, just outside of the betting spectrum, the Patriots or the Jets?
Well, I'm sitting here a few miles from the stadium, and there are already signs up saying, beware of the traffic. It is going to be a major scene there inside and outside the stadium for Aaron Rodgers' first home game. So there is excitement in this area. My angle is a lot like your angle. You have the starting left side of the Patriots line is out. The center and the right tackle are questionable. That's not a good situation going into this game. I know the Jets are banged up, but they still have Quinnen Williams. They still have Will McDonald. They still have some ballers on defense because they can man up with those corners. They don't need to keep anybody back, to watch those receivers. They can just man them up.
Ooh, I see. I like this. I mean, this is one of those where the recap screen, I have a feeling, is either going to look really good or really bad tomorrow, because it sounds like we're on a lot of the same stuff here. Sniper, I've kept you quiet for 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and I hate that I did that. I'm going to fix it. Not right now, but after this message from our partners.
Now let me hear you. A full slate of games featuring undefeated squads, talented QBs, and superstars all over the field. Now that's a CBS Sports Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
We're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Buckets, it looks like you've got some synergy with Brad Bets, which is always a great thing. Sniper, you've got synergy with me because you've got two plays, and maybe you'll cook up a home run play for later in the show. I know we like to informally or perhaps formally give those out. But what I love about at least one of your two plays is it's this afternoon. So give it to us. What are the two MLB plays today?
Yeah, we'll go to Texas, the site of the All-Star game. Kamar Rocker there, as many people might remember him from Vanderbilt in the College World Series when he was one of two aces with that Vanderbilt team along with Jack Leiter. The Rangers ended up with both of them. Kamar Rocker now making his second career start. He struck out 7 in 4 innings against the Mariners first time out. The Mariners are a heavy, heavy strikeout team. The Blue Jays, who he's facing today, are not necessarily a heavy strikeout team, but they have never seen him before, and he has a nasty slider. I'm holding this and playing with the slider grip while we're talking here. It drops so much that a lot of people are asking him, hey, is that actually a curveball instead of a slider? And he just says, no, I call it a slider. I'm expecting him to get deeper in the game this time anyway. Something like 5 strikeouts in 5 innings is reasonable. So we're going to go over the 4.5 strikeouts here for Mr. Rocker. Also, night action tonight in Wrigley Field. The Cubs had a day game yesterday, lost the game. They did not look good against the A's. Decent layoff here before the night game today. It's not exactly a day off, but they get to spend the night at home. Don't go anywhere. They had that night off, so should have a little bit extra spring in their step, especially because it's Patrick Corbin day. They're facing Patrick Corbin of the Nats, 6.58 road ERA. In fact, on the road, he's allowing hitters to hit 347 with a 388 on base percentage and 551 slugging. It's not that far off from Bobby Witt Jr.'s slash line. So Patrick Corbin on the road is basically facing Bobby Witt Jr. every single at bat is what it's like. Should be a good play to go with the Cubs on the run line there, especially at plus money. Javier Assad on the hill for the Cubs with a 2.24 home ERA. Plus, the Cubs are better. They just swept the Nats to start this month. I also looked at the Diamondbacks because the Brewers clinched last night and partied late. They might not play any regulars. Hard to know there. The only reason I got scared off is because Brandon Pfaadt is on the hill for the Diamondbacks, and he got crushed by the Brewers last time. Also in the chat, Alex asked, what about Baltimore to break out of this funk? No, absolutely not. I'm not trusting the Orioles right now. Even though Logan Webb has been terrible recently, you just can't trust the Orioles right now. And on the home runs, the Astros at home, they just saw Jose Suarez of the Angels last time out on September 13th. Seeing him again, he's a left-hander. Yordan Alvarez absolutely crushed his lefties. Plus, Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, you always have to love them at home against lefty with the Crawford boxes in left field. So you might take a look at that for home run props. And that's all I've got.
That was amazing. Nice close. A little Daniel Caffey action with something in your hand as you're thinking and giving out a great take. By the way, Jeff Sternberg's in the chat. I got to give him credit because he came into the chat yesterday and he said Logan Gilbert over 7 Ks at plus 170 is an absolute lock. And me and Amags thought he was kidding because he's a noted Yankee hater. Well, guess who got 8 Ks and guess who cashed to plus 170? Jeff Sternberg. And he says in the chat, and this actually, Sniper, this is a good follow-up because somebody had a question about this Mariners-Yankees game in terms of taking the Mariners money line with Logan Gilbert on the mound. But Sternberg says Logan Gilbert over 7.5 Ks is a guarantee. I know that sounds ridiculous, but he said that yesterday and it came in. Anyway, the 4 through 9 hitters in the Yankee lineup are absolute cartoon characters. Where's Amags when you need him? Any response to that, Sniper, or just the mere minus 110 you're getting basically on the Mariners money line here?
I'm good with Gilbert, not with the Mariners in general. You just can't trust the offense there. And Schmidt for the Yankees has had a pretty good year when he's been healthy. He was hurt for a big chunk of the middle of the season. So I might even think about the under there, really, even though seven's really low. Yeah, I'd be more on the props, I guess. Gilbert sounds good.
All right. Well, speaking of props, let's move back to Thursday night football with the Maestro. And I do want to mention, after the Maestro gives out his 2 props for Thursday night football, we're going to do gems. We're going to do first touchdown scores. Listen, they're going to do that on the primetime show tonight at 7:15. And by the way, we've got the NFL preview on CBS Sports Network later this afternoon. We'll tell you all about that in a little bit. But we're going to do gems, me, Larry, Mike, maybe some informal gems from Buckets and Sniper. But Larry, before we do that, let's talk about your plays for Thursday night football.
Yeah, I'm starting with the favorite to score the first touchdown, but this is a receiving prop on Breece Hall. We've seen it so far this season, 14 targets. It's kind of a carryover from the end of last season when he was getting peppered with targets. I like him over 30.5 receiving yards. The Patriots lost their middle linebacker, Bentley, so that's going to hurt a little bit in terms of communication and coverage. And we've just seen Aaron Rodgers be willing to check down, be willing to be super safe and get the ball out. So I'm just going to keep riding it. Other people, I haven't seen anyone say under on Breece Hall yet. Let's see how high this number goes, because definitely on the move. You could have gotten it 27.5. Now I'm seeing 31, 32.5, but I'm very comfortable up to 32.5 with Breece Hall. And then secondly, on the defensive side, Will McDonald over a quarter of a sack. This means he needs half a sack to cash a very nice plus money. 25% pressure rate in Tennessee. They lost their other pass rusher. He's on the field for every passing down. And he had 3 sacks last week. He won the game. He was the one that forced Will Levis into that horrible decision. He also had 2 other sacks. There's a lot of criticism of him last year. He was taken 15th overall, didn't deliver so much last year. Now he's stepping up. I mean, this guy is so much fun to watch. His motor is relentless. Going up against the Patriots O-line, very banged up. Even if the right tackle does start, he's questionable, and the whole left side of the line is out.
All right. So we've got Will McDonald over basically a half a sack, but 0.25 sacks actually is technically what it is at plus 114. I shouldn't say basically a half a sack, over 0.25 sacks at plus 114, and Breece Hall over 30.5 receiving yards at minus 125. Those props get me thinking, Mike, of, and we'll do first touchdowns in a second, but I do want to remind everybody, we've got a lot of people watching. Not a lot of you have hit the like button. That's okay. Maybe next time, or maybe right now. But we've got FFT DFS at 11 o'clock. It's me, Mike, and it's Meg Shop. We talk props in that, but we also break down the main slate. It'll be a 12-game main slate. I do want to announce, it's kind of cool, and it's thanks to a lot of you in the chat. Our most viewed, listened to FFT DFS show of all time was last Thursday at 11 o'clock. So thank you for everybody being in there. I've been doing that show for 4 years, and our number one show was last Thursday, and we hope that continues. It's such amazing content. It's not just a DFS show. We talk so many different things. Maybe sometimes we talk first touchdown scores. I don't know. Maybe we'll include that today at 11. But I do want to mention we've got an amazing new I really think this is a cool new promo, since this crew likes to bet first touchdown scores. We've all had our first touchdown bet called back before, and BetMGM is giving you a second chance with BetMGM's Pro Football Second Chance. Place any first touchdown score bet, and if your player doesn't score first but scores second, get your entire stake back in cash. No opt-in required. Here's how it works. Place a pregame straight first touchdown score bet in any NFL game. If your player scores the first touchdown in that game, win your wager just like normal. If your player scores the second touchdown in the game, you'll get your stake back in cash. It's that simple. Log in to BetMGM for more details. All right, Mike McClure, I just sung your praises, the praises of FFT DFS. Maybe I can sing your praises after you get the first touchdown score right. So what's your play?
It's going to be Breece Hall. It's the chalk here, Sia. And it's really just playing for this promo, right? BetMGM, you look at this promo, it makes the most sense. So when you look at anytime touchdown scores in general, we're up to minus 170 here on Breece Hall. That's going to be 63% implied probability. The next highest player is at 48. We're talking 15% higher chance of scoring a touchdown than anyone else. So considering the promo and considering everything here, I think Breece Hall, we know he's talented. I love Larry's prop on receiving yards. When I look at this Jets team, it's really, they've been throwing the football to running backs. That's essentially all they've done all season, and that's what they should continue to do. When I look at that metric in the NFL this season, only the Miami Dolphins have thrown to running backs more, and that's because Achane, he's really a slot receiver at times, but listed as a running back. If you remove them, it is the Jets and the Lions. They've got the dual-headed monster with Braylon Allen and Breece Hall here. I will take Breece Hall, though, just because of the rules regarding this promo.
This makes so much sense when you keep the promo in mind. So, I mean, I absolutely love this play. I almost feel like, because I'm about to give out a first touchdown play, I almost feel like I got to do the Breece Hall one instead. But I'm going to go with Mike Williams. Big Mike, whose snaps increased big time. And this is thanks to injury and him just not being ready at the beginning of the season. But he wasn't on the field a lot week 1, but he was on the field a lot in week 2. I think he's a nice big target. I do think Garrett Wilson's going to suck up most of the targets and is going to have an incredible target share. But I also think when you get near the red zone and you get the Patriots maybe loading up on a Breece Hall run, you're looking for big targets. Somebody like a Tyler Conklin, who frankly is on the field a ton but doesn't get targets. But I think Mike Williams is starting to progress into potentially the second best wide receiver option especially in the red zone for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going with Mike Williams at a fun number of plus 1,500. I'm seeing in the chat, we've got Aaron Rodgers' first touchdown at plus 4,000 from Japan. Put your first touchdown score in the chat. Buckets, we know we got to go to you because you always seem to get these. Sniper, you probably have one too, but I got to go to the maestro for a third official play on first touchdown scores. Oh, man. This happened a couple days ago, but it wasn't to Larry. We've had 2 this week. Larry, you're off mute. Go ahead.
I'm going with the bulldozer. Braylon Allen, 6'1", 235 pounds, scored 2 touchdowns last week. It is a short week. So Breece Hall, yeah, he's going to get a very healthy workload, but you're going to mix in Braylon Allen, both on the ground. He had 7 carries last week, had 4 targets. So I like this guy's odds at plus 1,200 because of his size and because it is a short week.
All right. Well, that's 3 picks. Buckets. Somebody in the chat just wrote, it looks like you just got out of detention, says Joe Neuenfeld, actually. Have you ever seen or heard of the movie The Breakfast Club?
I've heard of it from you on the show before, but I have not seen it.
You gotta watch that. I actually think you'd really enjoy that movie. Maybe I'm overstating it. I do think you should watch that movie. All right, so Buckets, you're getting all the interception props right, so you must be getting the first touchdown props right. Do you have a play for this? Putting you on the spot here.
Sia, I don't have a play, but my brand new limited edition green liquid core resin Galaxy dice might have a play for us all. So I'm going to do what I always do. I don't know NFL. I don't claim to know NFL. I just like roll to land on an 8, which if I look at my list here, it means we're going with Hunter Henry first touchdown score at plus 2,000. His anytime touchdown score is plus 450 if you're feeling a little bit not quite so intense with that BetMGM promo. But at plus 2,000, Sia, I am personally placing this bet as we speak.
Okay, what's really frustrating about this, and Sniper, I kind of sensed your frustration too. This is actually a great pick. And if I wasn't going to pick Mike Williams, I would have gone with the contrarian underdog play of Hunter Henry because he was very much involved. And I don't think Brissett trusts his receiver core quite yet. Sniper, your reaction, and do you have a first touchdown score?
Yeah, I have Hunter Henry, as you can see right there.
Oh no! Always.
I wrote down Breece Hall, but then I thought, let me get a long shot here, and I went with Hunter Henry. He had 12 targets last week, so if the Patriots get close, he's going to be an outlet for Jacoby Brissett. But I guess I should have just rolled a 25-sided dice instead, and we would have arrived in the same place. Yeah, we would have arrived in the same place there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Get Dat Parlay says, that's a fun name. He says Conklin first touchdown. And I don't hate that either. Conklin's got to get targets at some point, and in the red zone, he does make sense. Honestly, big target like that, part of the reason I went with Mike Williams. Thanks for putting your first touchdown bets in the chat. Sniper's face. Oh, that was great. I didn't realize why you were so exasperated when Buckets gave out that pick.
I was like, say anybody else, say any other name.
I thought he was exasperated because he was jealous of the dice. Because again, limited edition, kind of a big deal.
That was a big part of it.
Perfect.
All right, let's take a look at the recap screen, and then I want to tell you about what's coming up later today on this channel and on CBS Sports Network. All right. Jets -6 at -110. That's my play tonight. I'm taking the favorite. Mike McClure is taking the Patriots team total under 16.5. That's at -115. Buckets. Elfsborg. Norrköping. I definitely got that wrong. Both teams to score -120. And Zvezda Benfica, both teams to score -145. Sniper, Kumar Rocker over 4.5 Ks. That's afternoon baseball, folks, at -120. Cubs, that's in the evening, -1.5. That's the run line, or wherever Bucket says it, running the line or whatever, at +122. The Maestro, Will McDonald, over 0.25 sacks at +114, and Breece Hall over 30.5 receiving yards at -125. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot more NFL coming your way, including on CBS Sports Network. We've got our NFL preview where we preview all of the games. That's on CBS Sports Network at 12 o'clock this afternoon. So at noon. So this is a packed schedule for you because you're about to leave here, and at 11 o'clock, you're about to catch me, Mike, and Meg Schaub on FFT DFS on the Fantasy Football Today YouTube channel. Then you catch the Early Edge NFL Week 3 preview on CBS Sports Network. And then at 7:15, we've got the Primetime Show with the Primetime crew giving you all of their best bets for Thursday Night Football. Brad Morris, Brad Betts, Chris Kish, Liddy, Aaron Bailey, Jay Metz, Mr. Big. Thanks for being in here. That goes for everybody else. Thanks for being in here. Hopefully we see you later today, maybe at 11 o'clock on CBS Sports Network and on the Primetime Show. So much content coming your way today, tomorrow for Big Pick Energy Friday. On behalf of this entire crew, Buckets, Sniper, the Maestro, Mike McClure, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 9s and 10s, and all of you in the chat, let's have a great Thursday. Let's cash some of these tickets in baseball, soccer, and Thursday Night Football, and we'll see you very soon, if not in 35 minutes. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.